Welcome to Garage Sales Unhinged.
where the characters are as quirky as the finds.
I'm Julie.
And I'm Jake.
Join us as we dive into the wild world of garage sales, yard sales, estate sales, and anywhere secondhand sales are happening.
From bizarre bargains to hilarious haggles.
You won't believe the stories we've got lined up.
Let's get unhinged.
Hi, Jacob.
Hey, who are you?
I'm your sister and your co-host and the producer of this fine show called Garage Sales Unhinged.
Oh, and therefore you're my boss.
Being the little sister, I have always been your boss, bro.
You want to talk to you about the back pay in that case?
You're welcome to talk about it.
Well, okay. Doesn't seem like it's going to go anywhere.
I'm that kind of boss. That's the kind of operation I'm running here. It's,
Look, you get paid in exposure, you know?
You do get paid in exposure. Oh, it's so sad. Jake, today I want to talk about something that, I kind of like it because it's kind of nerdy and it's, I love finances. I love talking about the economy. Just a thrill. It is so much fun. I know Jacob is looking at me like, hurry up and get this episode over with.
Well, when you started off saying that you like finances, you're right. I rolled my eyes a little bit because you're talking about you, but I got a confession to make, Julie. You don't know this about me, but every morning I listen to an economics podcast.
Is it because the host sounds sexy?
No, no. No, every morning I listen to this thing and they just cover like the economic news of the moment. What
do you do with that information?
Sometimes I bring it here, to this show.
Mm-hmm.
Other times I get pretty upset.
I like to make myself upset first thing in the morning.
That's right. That's what media is for. It's for agitate. Like I patronize the Alka-Seltzer, company.
Uh-huh.
But no, sometimes I don't know, like you hear these things like, oh, I better look at my 401k and make sure it's not in this and that area. But like through this, got no control over that stuff. It's all make believe. It's and you like, and you fantasize like I'm gonna pull all my money out now, but
so this is so. We're so much alike. I do something similar. So I subscribe to CMO Today. It's from the Wall Street Journal. And every morning, business morning, they send out a really great email newsletter, RSS feed of various just news that relates to senior level marketing people from a wide variety of industries. I will say most of the industries are B2C, but sometimes they have B2B content in there. And you want to know what I do with that information, Jake?
what?
I buy stocks.
Okay. Hey, that's
So yeah. So whenever I read about, because a lot of times they will share if there's senior level executives that change. And so whenever I see some changes that happen at companies that are publicly traded, I'll then go in and buy a couple of their stocks just to see how this new senior executive leads the company, and then sell the stocks and I move on to something else. So I am just playing with pennies in the stock market based off of what I'm learning from all this various news. And also I get that I'm not like on the front row of knowing all this stuff. I'm just playing.
You're a
the
retail
stock market.
investor. You're a retail investor, just kind of farting around with it like everybody else does. How's it going for you?
Good. I am up. So I've been doing this for almost 2 years and I'm up 45%.
Wow.
Yeah.
How much time do you feel like you have to spend watching that stuff and managing it and all that?
Oh, I don't. I mean, I would probably be doing a lot better if I actually paid attention to it.
Hey, but for no effort, anything above this line is good.
Well, so we are going to talk about economics today. I know. I'm so excited. Please don't leave, listener. Trust me, it gets better. but like every morning I use a budget app, so I check our budget to see where we're at for the month and where we're on track. And then after I'm done with the budget app, then I go into my stocks app to see how my stocks are doing. I don't really do a lot of I don't do daily trading. I'm not a day trader. That's way above my give a poop meter. But I like to see, like, and I'm in it for the long haul. Like, hey, I've had some stock in some companies for a couple of years now, and those companies have performed well. So I play around with it, right? And
Yeah.
like it's a few dollars here, a few dollars there. It's nothing that I'm going to be able to retire on or buy a new car with, but I might be able to buy like a new bicycle someday.
Someday, yeah.
Yeah.
Like my 10-year plan is to get that Huffy. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, that would be awesome. So part of one of the articles or an article that I saw in the CMO Today email newsletter that I get was talking about pawn shop chains and how pawn shops are serving the K-shaped economy. So before I go into what this article is sharing, I'm going to ask you, Jake, do you know what a K-shaped economy is?
I could probably mangle an explanation because that's a topic on the stuff I listen to also. But essentially, if you think of the letter K, the shape of it, you got a line going up and a line going down.
Correct.
And essentially, it's about the widening because like those two lines on the right of the K go further and further apart. It's the widening divide between two very different economic classes in the country. And
Correct.
essentially, if you've got money, at and above a certain amount, they're doing all right. Things are available. Yeah, stuff's gotten more expensive, but your income it's not getting as left behind by all the inflation. Now, below that level, things are bad and feel very bad and are getting very worse because you can't keep up because even like essentials are harder to buy. So that K-shaped economy, it's two very like two Americas, as it's been the case for a very long time. It's just now it's got an economic term.
Hmm.
Well, an economic term that more people are getting exposed to help them kind of understand. But essentially, if you got it, you're good. If you don't, no one's there for you. That's it.
Yes. And one of the explanations that I heard today about a K-shaped economy is that you have companies, corporations that they have really good returns. They're making healthy profits right now. And so they're part of that top part of that K that's going up. The bottom part of the K, it is going to be more of the individual
Right.
that, hey, they're having to spread their pennies further, not being able to afford some things, maybe not going on family trips or not being able to afford kids shoes at the right time, like real things that are impacting families. So there is, you're right, it continues to widen. So this article from the Wall Street Journal, it talks about how pawn shops are serving the K-shaped economy, and I'm gonna share a tidbit about pawn shops with our listeners towards the end of the podcast that I heard from an insider that
Ooh,
works at pawn shops.
scandal.
So, and I still want to go. I need to go to a pawn shop because I want to go look at the jewelry that they have to see, like, can I get something that maybe I don't like the setting of it, but if the price is right, can I take it to a jeweler and get the right setting? And then do I get a higher value type of jewelry piece for something that I like? I haven't done it yet, but also I don't know what I'm looking at a pawn shop. Like I don't know how to pick out diamonds or rubies or emeralds, and I would very much be the person that bought some costume jewelry for way too much money because I don't know what I'm looking at. Are you planning a garage sale, yard sale, or estate sale and need some help? Look no further than Garage Sale Supply. They provide top-notch resources and expert advice to help you host the perfect sale. From pricing tips to promotional strategies, they've got you covered. Visit garagesalesupply.com and make your next sale a success.
I don't know the term for the like device that jewelers use, the
A
little
loop.
eyepiece, the
It's a
loop.
loop.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It'd be great to like walk in there with one of those, but you're just like looking at the Jimi Hendrix poster. You're using it on everything but the jewelry.
Yeah. Yeah. And also, like, I feel like if I walked in with a loop, then people would be like, oh, she knows what she's looking at. And I'd
Nope,
be like,
I'm just I
can
can
you
only
teach me how
afford
to
half of
use?
a steampunk costume.
I would be asking them, like, can you teach me how to use this? And like, they're like, oh, yeah, we got her. So pawn shops are now selling things like in this article, they had an example of like people can go into a pawn shop and buy a Birkin purse,
Mhm.
which we've talked about before on this show. Hermes Birkin purses, start at $20,000 new and then go up from there. And people that are in dire straits and unloading luxury items are taking them to pawn shops. So they may be, let's say that I bought a Birkin purse for 20 grand and I take it to a pawn shop and they offer me, let's say 5 grand for it.
Yeah,
Well, hey, that's what I'm going to walk away with. They could turn around and sell that 20,000 Birkin purse for $12,000.
easy. Yeah.
So that is a good investment for the pawn shop. Pawn shop is also they're well known for giving out loans. And I looked up today, like, what are the pros and cons of getting a loan from a pawn shop? So there's a bunch of different ways that people can get quick loans. Um, sometimes like whenever people think of like, oh, I need a loan, I need money and I need it right now, you go to like a payday lender.
Mhm.
Those are astronomically horrible because one, you don't have a good interest rate, and they also have access to your bank account.
Ooh, wow. That's
Yeah.
not
No, it's not great. So payday loan, not ideal because they will get money out of your bank account even if if you get $20 and you're like, oh, thank God I can buy milk, they'll take it before you can even spend it. So you have things like that. Um, a lot of times, and a lot of times when I see pawn shops, they're next to a bail bonds place
sure. Yeah.
because people need money for a bond and like, hey, I have no other collateral. This one thing that I have, I can take it to the pawn shop, get the bond money, be able to get my loved one out of jail for
Mhm.
the day.
Yep.
Um, so talking about this whole economy of pawn shops. And as I was reading up on this and how pawn shops operate, they are going to give you about anywhere from 10 to 60% of value of whatever you bring into them. So if I bring in, and we're going to use simple math here, if I bring in something to them that is $1,000 value is
Mm,
$1,000, they're going to give me anywhere from $100 to $600
right.
as a loan. Most pawn shop loans on average are $180. That doesn't really cover a bond, right? Like a bail bond. Do you know what that covers, Jake?
Maybe half of your utility bill,
Yeah.
you know, maybe a couple of full tanks of gas.
So people tend to get pawn shop loans to help pay for gas bill, utility bill, water bill, gas money. And it's one of those things of like they just need a little bit of cushion until they get their paycheck. And so they will go and pawn something. And a pawn shop is supposed to hold the item as collateral. There's also, and I went down a rabbit hole of darkness with this. There's a calculator that you can use on NerdWallet. So if you want to take something in and get, money out of it, what does that look like? What is the cost of this? So using my example earlier, we're going to say I'm going to take in, let's say I need to borrow $150. And then there's fees associated with this. So there's an origination, appraisal, insurance, all this stuff. I don't know what it is, but I'm just going to say it's 10% of that 150. So we'll say $15. And then number of days till due. So most pawn shop loans are going to be between 30 and 90 days. So I'm going to put in just 30 days. So only need $150 and I'm saying that my fees are $15 and the number of days till due is 30. That means that if they're giving me 60% of value of something that I'm taking to them, I essentially brought them something that is worth $250 for them to give me $150 in return. That's on the high end of what most pawn shops will give.
Yeah.
So I've just pawned something for a loan for $250. The APR interest rate for that $150 loan, 121%.
Oh my gosh.
So, and then as I was reading up about it, we
Is
live
that
in this.
good? Is that good, Julie? Is that a
I,
good APR?
no, that is not good.
Yeah.
So the other thing is too, we live in the state of Texas. So for the laws in the state of Texas is, let's say that I pawn our mother's wedding ring for, and I got a
Oh, yeah,
loan.
I love it. That's where you went. Let's make sure she knows about that.
Okay. And I've been able to get this $150 that I need to pay whatever bill with. And let's say that after the, like towards the end of 30 days, I don't have the money and the fees and everything else to pay it back. In the state of Texas, as long as you are paying the interest rate and the fees, even if you don't pay the principal, you can extend your loan. So there's every state is different, but there's some caveats there. But so 121% really high whenever a credit card is going to charge you 22%, and that's already horrible.
Right.
So pawn shop loan, not great. However, Jake, do you know why people would still go the route of getting a pawn shop loan?
Oh, like you just said, credit cards. If all you're going off of is the interest rate, credit cards are obviously the way to go, but not everybody can get a line of credit. Either you haven't built up the right kind of credit history or you have a bad credit rating or something like that. So that's just kind of what you have available.
That's exactly it. So for a lot of people, if they don't have credit, if they don't have interest, like if they don't have a bank account, if they're not part of a credit union, if, hey, I don't want to do a payday loan because they're going to have access to my bank. The thing with the pawn shop, they do not get access to your bank because legally they have already gotten the collateral
Mm.
for the loan.
Mhm.
So the pawn shop business model is actually like, this is something that, we would have seen, decades and decades before of like, hey, I need a loan. People would ask you, well, you got to put up collateral for it.
Yeah.
And it's a tangible thing where now we use a credit score to say, okay, well, we can give you money because we see a history of you paying stuff back. So for people that either don't have credit history, can't get it, or don't have good credit history, either or they don't have a bank account, or they don't want people to have access to a bank account, which I understand, a pawn shop loan is a great way to do it. All that to be said, then I'm sure people are going, well, cool, I'll just go rob somebody and like pawn stuff, right?
Mhm.
The vast majority of pawn shops work with police departments to find stolen jewelry and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So jewelry, guns, memorabilia, whatever it is that somebody may have stole. So no one think of this as like, oh, this is my get rich quick scheme. Like, no, you're gonna need a bail bond if you go that route. So don't do that.
Well, unfortunately, it's right there.
Right. Well, so here's my insider tip. You ready for this?
Let's do it.
So I have a friend that works for um a pawn shop franchise, a chain. And he is actually an accountant for them. And he said that if you needed money quick if you needed money quick and you want to go to a pawn shop, yes, you can pawn things, you can sell things to the pawn shop, and they will give you a price for whatever you are bringing to them. However, if you go into them and say, I want to do a pawn shop loan, what they give you is higher than what you would have sold to them. So if you need money quickly, go in and get a pawn shop loan, even if you have no intention of paying back the loan, because they don't come after you.
They just keep the collateral.
Yes, because their entire intention is, well, because they gave you, you know, 15 to 60% of the value of that thing, they can turn around and make a profit off it like right away.
And based on the interest rate you were saying, it won't be long before your repayment would, you know, surpass the value of the collateral item in any way.
Yes, but also like you got to think about it too. Pawn shops are not in the business of hunting people down. Like they're
That's not
not
what
going to.
movies have taught me, but oh well.
Well, like a pawn shop employee is not going to come and repossess your vehicle. That's the thing is that they already own the collateral,
Yeah.
and in the pawn shop loan agreement, you're pretty much saying if I don't come back and pay off
Mhm.
this loan and the interest and the fees, you get to keep mom's wedding ring.
Right.
And
Right.
so why would they come after you? Like one, you didn't pay it back to begin with, so you're already in dire straits. Two, they already got the thing of value from you and they can sell it and like still make good money off of it.
Mm. So the tip is like if
Don't
you've
sell
got something
things.
worth a darn, if you have a choice between getting a loan against it versus just selling it to the pawn shop, go the loan route.
Right. And I know a lot of people are thinking like, well, if I'm just going to sell it to the pawn shop, then why wouldn't I, sell it on Facebook Marketplace or,
That's
on
a good
any of
question.
the resale play or
Yeah.
have a garage sale or whatever. Well, sometimes I'm like, well, sometimes you need the money right then. You need it
Yeah.
that day.
Yeah. Because the pawn shops, you're gonna walk in and the pawn shop's gonna go, is this still available?
Yeah.
And just stare at you for like 4 weeks.
And that was the thing of like putting and for people that have never taken out a pawn shop loan or have taken things to the pawn store to sell, they may not realize that there's like, hey, I need money right now. I need this cash pronto. And there's a dire need of, hey, I need to get this done. If you have the luxury of selling it yourself, then yes, go and do that. But not everyone has that luxury. So thought it's interesting. Like the pawn shops are kind of having this revival. Um, People that are in the top portion of that K-shaped economy are buying things secondhand. So people that can afford that $20,000 Birkin are going to the pawn shop and buying it because they're saving themselves another 10 or 20 grand from buying it brand new and having to be on the wait list at Hermes and doing all that, crap. But
There's an
so
aspect of this that does kind of feel like there's a facet of the secondhand market that you're just kind of seeing a form of economic scavenging. Like
yeah,
the top half of that K-shaped economy is scavenging on the bottom half. Uh, like these are absolutely just discretionary purchases being made, and it's like as people do, for various reasons, find themselves on the undesirable side of that K-shaped economy, and having to make some tough choices and put that stuff out there. Other people kind of swooping in and taking advantage of the fact that it's at an extreme markdown compared to what they might be able to afford retail anyway. But
that is
it's
one way to look at it, but I would also flip it around the other way of I think we are coming into a new norm in our socioeconomic lives
Mhm.
where people that are more affluent would have never thought about buying something secondhand.
Absolutely, absolutely, yes.
And so you have more people coming into secondhand spaces, whether it's a pawn shop or it's a retail app or, a Goodwill or something like that and going like, "Oh my gosh, if I can buy this luxury in thing at a boutique thrift store, what else can I buy? What other treasures are out there?" And so you essentially have a larger audience that is willing to pay for things that I don't think we had before in American history because the K-shaped economy is showing people you don't have to buy things brand new and still get a good quality item out of it.
It's also really interesting too. I don't think it'd be the first time necessarily that a quote underclass has like unintentionally served a curation
Mhm.
role for the upper class. That there's some mystique and charm in trying to gain access to this other world in a safe manner. And I don't mean just like, oh, isn't it funny? I'm wearing urban clothes or something like that. It's that folks that have to put this stuff out there in the secondhand market, I'm saying have to,
Hmm.
have bought things that, somebody in the upper end of the K-shaped economy would have bought themselves. It's just they've let this person do the hard work of buying it retail, going through the life stuff they had to go through to where they have to pawn it.
Hmm.
And in that way, it, there's a kind of curation aspect to that hard time that the second person has gone through.
Yeah. I mean, there's all sorts of human stories that come behind
Mhm.
all of these items, whether it was through a divorce or it was, hey, I got this gift that it's taking up space and I really don't want it in my house anymore. Or I outgrew this instrument that I just don't play anymore and I'm never going to play it again. Like you have all these stories that come from behind these things.
Yeah.
And but it's also interesting to see how pawn shops are playing into what's happening in the economy today and how they're seeing a wide range of people being able to go into a pawn shop and whether it's to actually get a loan or to actually buy things.
Yeah,
Um,
honestly, and there's a big difference too. I'd be curious to know. I wonder whether your friend would have any insight, or whether the pawn industry would have any metrics around the demographics of the people that bring stuff in, and like how that's changed over time.
well,
It's like I would imagine there's probably more than there used to be folks that have brought stuff in and they've got STEM degrees.
so Jacob, you and I are both creative people. We're creative writers. We love to tell stories. We love to make up stories. It's why we have a podcast. Part of me is going like where my mind first goes of like, oh, well, what's the demographic? What's happening? I'm going, how many people are going in and like, hey, I'm having an affair and I want to buy like my mistress or this guy that I'm dating a
I don't know if they
present.
say that.
They probably don't say any of this, but this is what I'm thinking in
Oh,
my head of
okay,
like,
okay.
and they're like, yeah, I'm going to pawn this thing because I'm not going to get, the extra funds. Like, I don't want my spouse to see what I'm buying my boyfriend or girlfriend.
Mm,
And so, like, being real shady about it.
mhm.
Like, part of me is like, this is where my mind goes. I'm like, people are horrible people, but I'm like, oh, you could do a pawn shop. Pawn shop's easy. There's no paper trail, there's no tracking. Like, but yeah. So that's kind of where, don't ask me about demographics. I'm going to make up something that's just going to
You're right.
entertain me.
I'm sure it's all very salacious. I'm finding ways to get upset.
But yeah, I thought it was an interesting article. I will say this too. I'm seeing more and more mainstream media articles, headlines, stuff like that about the secondhand sales market. Um
What a
and
bunch
Jake,
of fucking copycats, man.
I want to applaud us. Gives ourselves a pat on the back of like I'm glad that those producers and editors and researchers are listening to our podcast because we've already talked about a lot of this stuff.
And if our listener is, getting kind of the heads up first, it's a good thing that they are listening.
Thanks, listener. That one listener.
You know what? Big ups, Rodney. Way to go.
Well, Jake, that's what for this week.
Sounds good. Thank you for the topic.
You're welcome. Goodbye.